today. So I'm just going to read some of chapter 26 from the Song of Rubu. I'm going to divide it into 3 parts, just so it's not too much all at once. So I'm going to read 15 verses. It's called Undifferentiated Abidance in the Non-Dual Nature. Nidaga, in this explanation I shall tell you about being established in the undivided, which has nothing apart from itself, which is full of itself. May you be in the bliss of being that itself, as being proclaimed to you. This teaching is highly secret and rare to come by, in the Vedas and the scriptures. Moreover, this is rare to come by for even the gods and yogins, and is dear to their hearts. Son, it has been said by those who know fully, that being at one with the perfectly full non-dual Brahman, the mass of existence consciousness bliss, the immutable, the self of all, the serene, with the imagination's notions of the fickle mind ended, and thought dissolved wholly and indistinguishably herein, like a salute such as cumin seed dissolved in water, is the abidance in that itself. When inquired into deeply, all the multitude of differences will be seen to be never existent. All is the undivided Supreme Brahman, which is not different from the Self, and that am I. By always correctly practicing in this exalted certitude, and relinquishing all else, be in the bliss of being ever that itself. That in which all these apparent differences of duality cease to exist when inquired into, in which all cause and effect, even a trace thereof, cease to exist, and in which not a trace of the sphere of duality exists, when the mind is merged therein, being that itself, ever abide in unwavering bliss. That in which there is neither a concept, fixed idea, nor imagination, doubt, notion, in which there is neither peace nor perturbance, in which there is neither mind nor intellect, in which there is no confusion or conviction, in which there is no conviction, feeling, or absence of conviction or feeling, and in which there is no cognition of duality at all, being as that itself, without the least fear of duality, ever abide in unwavering bliss. That in which there is nothing bad or good, in which there is neither sorrow nor pleasure, in which there is neither silence nor speech, in which there are no pairs of opposites, in which there is no distinction of I or body, and in which there is not the least thing to perceive, ever abide in bliss without a trace of a concept, in that itself as that itself. That in which there is no activity of body, in which there is no activity of speech, in which there is no activity of the mind, in which there is no activity of any other kind, in which there is nothing sinful or meritorious, and in which there is no trace of desire or its consequences, ever abide in bliss without a trace of a concept, in that itself as that itself. That in which there is never any imagination, in which there is no one who imagines, in which the universe has not arisen, in which the universe does not exist, in which the universe does not get dissolved, and in which nothing exists at any time, ever abide in bliss without a trace of a concept, in that itself as that itself. That in which there is no appearance of Maya, illusion, in which there are no effects of Maya, delusion, in which there is neither knowledge nor ignorance, in which there is neither lord nor individual, in which there is neither reality nor unreality, and in which there is not the least appearance of the world, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself. That in which there are no manifold gods, in which there is no worship of or service to these, in which there is no differentiation as the triad of forms, in which there is no meditation on the triad of forms, in which there is no form of the Supreme Shiva, and in which there is no meditation on the Supreme Shiva, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself. That in which there is no action suggesting differentiation, in which there is neither devotion nor knowledge, in which there is no result to be obtained, bereft of which there is no supreme abode, in which there is nothing of means for attainment, in which there is nothing to be attained, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself. That in which there is nothing of body or senses or life, in which there is nothing of mind or intellect or thought, in which there is nothing of ego or ignorance, in which there is no experiencer of these, in which there is no macrocosm or microcosm, and in which there is not a trace of birth and death, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself. That in which there is no desire and no anger, in which there is no covetousness and deluded infatuation, in which there is no arrogance and envious malice, in which there are no other impurities of the mind, and in which there is no delusive notion of bondage, and in which there is no delusive notion of liberation, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself. That in which there is neither beginning nor end, in which there is no bottom or middle or top, in which there is neither shrine nor deity, in which there is neither charity nor righteous conduct, in which there is neither time nor space, and in which there is no object to be perceived, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself. That in which the fourfold means for realization of Brahman do not exist, in which there is neither Sadguru nor diligent disciple, in which there is no immutable knowledge, in which there is no illustrious knower or sage, in which there is neither of the two kinds of liberation, and in which there is nothing at any time, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself. That in which there are no scriptures like the Vedas and such, in which there is no inquiring individual, in which there is no confusion and clarification, in which there is no position to be established, in which there is no position to be rejected, in which there is nothing at all except oneself, ever abide in bliss, without a trace of a concept, in that itself, as that itself.